Well, Sam, I appreciate you coming in for your mid-year evaluation. If you remember, a year and a half ago, you took the reins of Sunnydale Elementary School, and you were handpicked to lead this charge. There was a lot of work that needed to be done. You had proven yourself as an assistant principal, and moving you into this principal role was a big challenge for you, especially at a high priority school. And that's not something we typically do as moving a new administrator into that role. But with your previous work in some different schools, we really felt that you were the man for the mission on this. And looking the way that I will go through your evaluation and just kind of talking to you about your goals and that, we want to cover the principal evaluation tool as well as just kind of getting a general overview of how you think things are going as well. Because here we are sitting in your second year. You've got half of the year now behind you with half in front of you. So to begin with, let's look at Standard 1 of the principal evaluation, and talk to me a little bit about your mission and vision. You know, how are things going as far as what your plans are that you have made for the school year, and what you're looking for for the remainder of the school year. Talk to me about the mission and vision of your school.
Well, our mission and vision is still in development. To be honest, Mr. Breedlove, when you go in an environment that was as challenging and if you'll let me speak free, toxic as I went into,
yes, sir.
To me, as a new administrator, it would have been a mistake to come in and say, okay team, here's our new goals. So last year we spent the year working on big vision, big goal, big school mission statement, that sort of thing. What the staff didn't realize is while I had them together working on mission, vision, those sorts of things, we were also kind of in a sneaky way working on our climate and our culture.
Great.
Because when we met, prior to my arrival, the data was clear. When we met, we sat and talked about how bad the kids were and complained about how the administration wasn't responding to those. And if you look at your working condition survey, you can draw that conclusion. Suspensions were low, but staff complained about administration not responding to discipline consistently. So those things don't connect. So by virtue of using the climate and culture, by using the mission statement, let's work on a long-term strategic plan process, I hope to build these collaborative teams that are talking about things that are productive rather than not productive. We hope to unveil our new long-term plans as part of our school improvement plan for year 3. We've got some great ideas, but frankly, I have not answered that question yet, sir.
Well, when we first met at the beginning of the year, you set some goals for yourself, for the school, obviously, mm-hmm. and one of your goals, Sam, was that you wanted to get a continual improvement in school-wide growth scores in reading and in math. All right. Specifically, your goal was to improve every grade level by 2 percentage points. Looking at standards 2 and 4, you know, that kind of goes along with your human resources, looking mm-hmm. at that instructional component, as well as our strategic priority of ensuring instructional success of all of our students. Talk to me about how things are going thus far in the school year, and what you've seen. You know, last year your reading scores were up for the most part, besides grade 3 compared to the state, but your math scores, all right, the math scores are most concerning to me, and we have to be very frank with one another. Mm-hmm. We really need to focus on improving these math scores and getting them up to the district and that state average. Talk to me how that's going.
Well, one of the things that I learned early in my career was if you have let's say you go somewhere and you have 10 things to do. You can do 10 things to a level of 1, or you can prioritize and pick 2 or 3 and do 2 things to a level of 5.
Okay.
I think of Lego would be the visual. I will own our math scores, but what I will do is use the math scores for leverage to celebrate our success in reading. We made the decision collaboratively at our school as we're working through these, what's our vision, we decided that if our children couldn't read, we were doing them a disservice. And our children come in so low. If you look at our reading scores, our 3rd grade reading scores continue to be our lowest. Our children come in with such challenges that in a new environment, trying to improve the culture, I had to pick one of those areas to really apply the pressure on our staff.
Okay.
So when you push literacy and you schedule literacy, and you know, there are questions in my survey about scheduling of instructional time, and I have to own those. But when we decided we were going to teach them to read, the time and effort had to come from somewhere. I'm not going to negate math. You have my commitment that math will be a little better this year than it was last year.
Talk to me about some of the things that you're doing to make it better.
Well, I will tell you, the main thing I'm doing is looking at our staff, and we'll finish with some resources that I have that I need from you.
Okay.
Related to that.
That's great.
But right now, to me, you have to hit standards before you can start adding on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not satisfied with our math teaching standard yet. So all I need is patience right now from you. I've got some ideas of some add-ons, but until we know we're teaching the Common Core rather than what we want to teach, I've got to work on what I have in-house first.
Okay, I've got some ideas also to help, and you can take a look at some of them. I mean, your program might be working. I've got some other programs that I want you to look at as well to see if that's something that you like. Plus, I would like to offer you the curriculum coordinators at least once a week in your building, working with your math department and helping also with science. If you noticed, your science scores were slightly low. Keep doing what you're doing in reading. All right, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and then we'll work on math moving forward, and I think that we'll see some very good progress there as well. Let's shift now to talk a little bit about your second goal was morale.
Yes,
all right, in the building. You've kind of touched base here and there on it. Currently, you know, attendance at Sunnydale is about 1% below the district as well. And you know, when the students are there, it puts pressure on the teacher to make sure that they're being successful. You also, you know, looking at if you want to look at the inverse of that data, your teacher turnover is about 18%. All right, which also affects morale. Your low scores on the perception data, on the teacher working conditions survey, you know, here's one: teachers have sufficient access to office equipment and supplies. That's another issue that I want you to look at. The low scores on the perception data on question 5, students at the school understand and expectations of conduct. So I've thrown a lot of things at you. Talk to me about morale in the building and how you may be addressing some of these items.
Well, one of the things I believe is that there is no morale improvement plan. There are problems that you can solve, and the outcome will be morale.
Okay.
If you talk to the staff about morale, you're going to talk in circles, because morale is the result of what you're doing wrong or not doing.
Okay.
So let me answer your question with 2 specifics. The first is, when I moved into my office last summer, and I don't think I've shared this with you, when I moved into my office, I was given a master key. Well, my master key would open my office and every other door in the building except for 2. The financial secretary's office and the teacher supply room. So I kind of made a scene, Mr. Breedlove, and I called our office staff together and said, why is our supply of paper clips more secure than all of our staff and student records? So we basically took the lock off the supply door. So when you see this
That's
teacher
very good.
working conditions survey for 16, I guarantee you're gonna be better satisfied with those. We had, I can go into it, we had a truncated 5-step issue that we had to fix. Secondly, the discipline data thing, sir, is a 24-hour turnaround that we've been following the last 2 years with discipline referrals will solve that problem. Those 2 items, I believe those 2 items will result in better morale.
Well, fantastic, and I know that your time is very valuable. You've brought a lot of insight into the project, if you may, with Sunnydale Elementary School that we placed you there to help improve the school and improve the community as well. And based on the information that you provided, I think you're heading in the right direction. Still work to be done, as you know, in certain areas, but keep up the good work, and it's always a pleasure. If you need anything, let me know, and I do want to talk to you about maybe some summer programs or looking at additional administrative help
Thank you.
in your schools.
Thank you.
All right, so thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.